Hey guys, welcome back. So now in this particular video, we are going to see about the directives of Angular 2. So just to give a brief about directives, is directives are nothing but reusable components, which was again it was there into the predecessor, that is Angular.js, and it was the most integral part of it. So over here in Angular 2, if you can say, there are three types of directives. One is nothing but the component, which you can see over here, and which we have been writing throughout this particular video session on Angular 2. That is nothing but something which you would be very much familiar about till now. There is two more types about it, and the second one is nothing but structural directives. So structural directives are really nothing but the directives which plays with the showing and hiding of the DOM element. So if at all any directive is really handling, the visibility or the showing and hiding of any particular HTML DOM element, that particular directive is termed as structural directive into Angular 2 anatomy. So there are three types of structural directive. The first one, which we are really going to see over here, is nothing but ngf. So ngf is a directive which equates to a truth condition to its RHS, that is right hand side of the syntax, and if at all it is true, it will put it into the DOM, the element into the DOM, or else it will just remove it. Let me just see. I'll just write a paragraph over here. I'll just move on with the paragraph, and I'll just say that nothing but show element. Okay, so now here to anytime go and write your structural directive, the syntax starts with nothing but a star, and I can say ngif, right? And it is going to be having in your RHS, and that is going to be nothing but any of the public property binding. That's something for here. I'll just say show element, and I'm just going to write it over here. I'll just go here and say public show element, that is going to be of type boolean, and I'm just going to say true. If I just go there and refresh it over here, you can see I'm able to get a show element over here. Supposingly I just say it to be false, I refresh it, and I get nothing on my screen, if you can see. Okay, if I let me again put it as true and refresh the page, and you can see this is nothing but a true thing which is happening. So please don't get really carried away with this particular syntax. Actually, this is nothing but a sugar coating over a lot of things which is Angular 2 doing beneath this particular syntax. It is again it is again going on to its plain old square bracket, and then it is handling all the stuff, and all this particular thing, all this particular snapshot of this particular HTML, it is put inside a directive called ng template, and the things are which is happening, and so all these things are really not to be taken care about the consumers. They just have to follow this particular syntax, and rest of the complexity is handled by HTML, by the Angular 2. So moving ahead, we'll have the second structural directive which we have is nothing but it is nothing but ng switch. So if I'll just write it down, I'll just say it is nothing but paragraph. A paragraph is going to have, let me just not write a paragraph, I'll just write it a div, and I'll just say it that it is to be nothing but, I'll be using ng switch, and ng switch is nothing going to be a public property called color. Wow, so now it is going to be superb. Okay, ng switch is going to be a color, and I'll just put down some code over here with ng switch case. just write it down one. I'll just put it as P over here, and I'll just go and say star, nothing but ng is going to be ng switch case, and ng switch case is going to be, if at all the value of my color is going to be red, I'm just going to write color is red. In the same way, I'll repeat the same for blue and green. I'll just come here and paste it so that I don't waste my time writing the stuff. I'll put a BR over here just for the sake of simplicity. Okay, so if you can see, my color is not falling into any of the cases. I'll just go down over here. I'll just say public, and it's going to be show element, and it's going to be of again a boolean. Oh, I'm really sorry, it is going to be nothing but color. Okay, and it is not going to be boolean, it's going to be a string. And I'll just say it to be red once. So if I refresh it, you can see now color is red. This particular div has been shown and rest of the things are been hidden. If I go and say it as blue, only blue would be the case which would be seen, if you can see over here. So that's great. There's one more directive, structural directive, which is there, and that is nothing but ng4. It is exactly the same of ng repeat. So if I just go there and just say div, right, and I'll just go and say star, again it is going to be the same format how ngf is written. Now over here it's ng4, and ng4 I'll just say let color of colors, and over here I'll just drop down, I'll just print color. So this is nothing but going to be a collection of colors which would go into my class. It would be having, this is nothing but going to be an array of colors, and this is going to be the iterator, and this is what I am printing over here. So I'll just write a public property called colors, and it is going to be of array, going to be of type string, and I'll just put, it's going to be red, it's going to be blue, and it's going to be green. I just save it, I refresh the stuff. You can see it is iterating over the values of nothing but your iterator. So now this is all about Angular2 structural directive. Let us move on to the last type of Angular directive which is there into Angular2, is nothing but attribute directives. So attribute directives are nothing but the directives which are put on the attributes of the HTML. To explain the attribute directive, I'll just clean this stuff out of here, and at the same time I'll just remove the stuff, and let me just write it down. Okay, so now we are going to explain attribute directive with the help of two directives, that is going to be ng class and ng style. So ng class and ng style are nothing but the attribute of HTML which is going to be put, and let us see how it really works. So moving ahead, firstly I need to create two classes. Just for the reference, I'll just put down over here, these are going to be two classes, class 1 and class 2. So class 1 is going to be have just a color white, and class 2 is going to be having a background color, and that is going to be a black. Let me just write a paragraph over here. I'll just go down over here. I'll see paragraph and I'll just write ng class directive. Cool. Over here, what I am really, going to do is I'm going to write my attribute director, which is nothing but a square bracket. This is how it is defined. Ng class, and again it is going to be having a RHS right inside, and that is, going to be nothing but an object. So object is going to be, so now here there is going to be key value pair. So key is nothing going to be, it is going to be uh, the class's name, and the value is nothing going to be the binding, and that is not going to be the truth condition on how though that particular class has been applied to this particular directive. So just to explain this, I'll say it is going to be this particular class, and I just write this particular as class 1, and again I'll just, there is going to be Angular binding towards it, and that's going to be class 1 boolean, which is going to be implemented inside my class hello world. I'll just put a comma and I'll just say class 2, and again it is going to be a binding class 2 bool. So I just copy this stuff off. I say it's going to be nothing but public. I say class bool is nothing going to be, oh, true. I just say public class 2 bool is again going to be nothing but true. Wow. So if I refresh the stuff out over here, you can see I am getting applied to these particular, classes. If I just go and see over here, you can see there are two classes which are applied. There's nothing but class 1 and class 2, which I have created into my component. It completely depends on what truth value it has. If I'll just, put it as false. So over here the class 1 would not be applied, but class 2 would be applied. So class 2 is nothing but background black, and white would not be there. So if I refresh it, you can see it is not visible for it because black, it is camouflaging over here. I'll just put it true again, and again I just put this particular as black. So again it would be camouflaged because the background is also white. So that's not use showing this particular thing off. So it is handled by nothing but the truth conditions. There's nothing but the bindings to the directives, how it's done. Moving ahead, I will create some, public, nothing but, okay, so I just go and to just show you things off, maybe I will just implement a toggle button so that you can see how dynamically the property values are changed. So I've just put a button over here, and there is nothing going to be a toggle class action. So this is nothing but a click event binding. So I'll just go here and put this thing off. So I'm just toggling this particular classes. So if I just refresh it, you can see there's a toggle button. You can see it is, I'm toggling it. I'm just toggling the truth condition of both of these. So this is how it is happening, just to demonstrate the stuff. Just to move ahead, you can see I'll just put down some public properties over here. Over here you can see there's italic, there is a style called italic and size. So now we are going to see how ng style is, written. I'll just put a br tag over here. I'll move on and I'll just write a p of paragraph. I'll say nothing but ng style, and over here I'll just say nothing but ng style directive inside a square bracket, which is going to be having a binding expression, and that's going to be nothing but. So now over here I'll say what property I need to apply, and again it's going to be font hyphen style, and the value of which I'm going to take from this particular public binding, public way property of the class, that is nothing but style. I'll just say style, and then I'll just put a comma over here. I'll say nothing but font size, and I'll just take the value from this particular public property, that is nothing but size. I'll just save it, and then I'm just going to refresh stuff. You can see I'm applying a style to this particular paragraph. I just open it, you can see there's font style and font size which is there present from the binding, and this is how the attribute directives really work. In our next video we are going to see how inputs and outputs are emitted out, and how events are handled from directives, that is nothing but the components. Thanks a lot, guys.